Hello, everyone, and welcome to the P1 Broadcasting Network. Tonight it's Murph, and it's the Horizon IndyCar Series live from the now mostly demolished Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. It's 240 miles or 120 laps in the Horizon IndyCar Series, and do we have a treat for you? Practice is just about concluded. We've got 21 cars signed in for tonight's action. It is the fifth round, and we've had 4 different winners so far this season. Alexander Miller, he took Watkins Glen. Daniel Durazo won at Michigan. Liam O'Sullivan on the high banks at Kentucky. And Alexander Miller became the first repeat winner on fuel mileage in the last round at Gateway 2 weeks ago. But tonight, it's all about raw speed and raw power. This is the fastest track that IndyCar has ever visited. Gilles de Ferran has the outright closed course world speed record here, 240 miles an hour and change in what is affectionately known as the Rinsky, the Penske Reynard Honda, one of the fastest automobiles ever produced. This track built it on the site of a Kaiser steel mill, and that is the chimney that you see in the middle of the course. It was a former Superfund site. Roger Penske cleaned it up and turned it into a palace of speed. We are getting ready to qualify here in the Horizon IndyCar Series momentarily, and we'll bring you those laps as they come on the course right now. It's Mark Cohn, and we're going to show you exactly what this looks like from the vantage point of a driver. There's Cohn as he brings it up to speed around the outside. Turn number 4. He's going to want to keep that thing right up against the outside wall, and watch as he dives to the bottom. 222 miles an hour. He's taking the high route through turn number 1 this time. He's going to throw away the first lap, and it looks like our good friend Mark Cohn is going to go for the hot one on lap number 2. You want to keep the tires as cool as possible because you do want to head for the bottom as you come around. The front straightaway, the D, it almost looks like an upside down U, the line, and there goes Mark Cohn down toward the bottom. He's going to swing out just a little bit to make turn number 1, try to get the angle into the corner right down to the white line. This track is deceivingly bumpy, and you can tell it just from the way the cockpit is rattling around as he heads down the backstretch. 220 miles an hour plus into turn number 3, gets it right down to the bottom. He's going to come off the track in the middle, and then right there you cut to the apron. That is a hot lap here at Fontana. The time for Mark Cohn, 32.810. That's good for 219.719 miles an hour for Mark Cohn in the Joy of Driving machine. Matty Wagner is also on the course. There's Wagner. He has gone to the pole. Let's get somebody else in here. Let's try Micah Mixer. Micah Mixer had a wonderful run in the Sim Gaming Expo Challenge Series. He is one of the open wheel competitors that made it through. Welcome, Anna the Deer, to the chat. Anna, I'm going to need you guys to keep the questions coming. Keep the audience engagement high. Ryan Eric King out on assignment this week, so I'm all by my lonesome. So give me something to talk about in that chat because it could be a really, really long night. Here's Micah Mixer's on board. We're going to go from the roll bar and give you another look at exactly how quick Micah Mixer is traveling through here. 227 miles an hour down into turn number 1 that time. And there's Shane Coker, the eye in the sky, checking in. Good to have you along, Shane. We're kind of in the sky with Micah here as he cuts down to the apron. His lap with 40 seconds to go in the session. Second quick, 32.663. 220.708 miles an hour. And that, I believe, is going to conclude matters here in the qualifying session. There are 3 cars that have not taken time. None of those cars are out on the speedway, or 4 cars that have not taken time. None of them are out on the speedway. And so I believe we are going to have our grid set. Mason Mitchum goes quick right at the gun, snipes in to take the pole position, and we are set and ready for the grid here in Fontana for the Horizon IndyCar Series. On the pole with a lap of 220.876 miles an hour, it's going to be Mason Mitchum in the Votive Racing League machine. He'll be flanked by Jason Collins in the number 96. In row 2, Micah Mixer. He'll have Matt Wagner to his outside. Grandpa Will Stearns, he'll go 5th. Outside of him will be double winner Alex Miller. Nate Fields will roll from 7th. He'll have Dark Horse Series chairman Eric Peterson alongside him in 8th. Frank Wynn is 9th, and Gary Lovren in the Velocity Online Racing Machine, he'll roll from 10th. Andrew Surwack will go 11th, Turner Johnson 12th, Lith Fox 13th, Mark Cohn is 14th. Joseph Morales will start in 15th. VH Carr, that's a new entry in the Aero McLaren livery, he'll go from 16th. Hugo Galez in the second Velocity Online Racing entry, he will be 17th. Jacob Wilson is 18th. Daniel the Cat will roll from 19th. Jeff Heisong will be 20th. Yari Brubaker 21st. Mike Rigney, the ISRA Racing impresario, he will roll from 22nd on the grid as we get ready to for 240 miles here in the Horizon Racing League. And that has got to be one of my favorite shots, the field rolling away behind the pace car. Do want to thank Whiplash SimCams for these images. Welcome to Samantha Sexton. She's in cheering for Frankie, cheering for Lith Fox. Speaking of cheering, Fontana noted for its weather. Southern California noted for its weather as well. This is a picturesque day. 72 degrees in the air, 114 on the track. Wind is a puff, and I do mean a puff off the coast out of the west, southwest at just 2 miles an hour. And there you see them lining up to do battle here. The fuel tanks here tonight are 90%, and so that is going to come into play. Fontana is a track that is known for its fuel mileage. It's also known for its tire wear. Normally speaking, rule of thumb is 36 to 40 laps. With 90% fuel, we would expect 32 to 36 laps. 37 if you are extremely cautious. There's the pace car. He's getting ready to duck on out of here. And once the pace car pulls off, we'll jump up in the flag stand with Barney. There he is. He's already got the green flag out. The 22 cars in the Horizon IndyCar Series roar toward the starting line at Auto Club. The 240 miles of California are on. Already 3 wide, looking to the outside of Will Stearns. It's going to be Alex Miller and Matt Wagner. And you see him, everybody safely through turns 1 and 2. Down the back stretch they thunder. Mason Mitchum is in the lead. Micah Mixer is second. Jason Collins third. Will Stearns is fourth. The front 4 have straightened out. They are single file. And we are clean and green through lap number 1. Thank you so much, Dirty Quiet, for joining us. It is an interesting conundrum, this 90% fuel, Anna. You are exactly right. And the reason that it's interesting is we watch everybody get kind of single file straightened out here. The reason that it is kind of interesting for everybody involved is pretty simple. You cannot make this on the normal 2 stops. Normally, it would be a very straightforward, save the lap 40, save the lap 80, maybe save 1 or 2 additional, get going on that last stint. In this one, you're going to have to super save to get to that 40 lap mark. And that's why we see everybody getting strung out single file almost immediately. And Anna, you're exactly right. You are going to want, I don't know if you want to get map 5 necessarily. I've always had better luck saving fuel in maps 3 or 4. And the reason for that, Anna, is I feel like if you get map 5, you have to run wide open more. However, if you stay in maps 3 or 4, you can kind of cruise up to the back of somebody. You get to the middle of the straightaway, and you can crack that baby at half or 3/4 throttle, and that tends to save a little bit more fuel than running flat out in fuel 5. But you are absolutely correct. It is get single file, get in the draft, and chill out. Micah Mixer is absolutely willing to set the pace. At the moment, Mixer leads it from Will Stearns Jason Collins and Will Stearns. Alex Miller is 4th. Jason Collins is going to drop to the bottom, and he's going to slingshot right past Micah Mixer. That is an easy move to make here. Fontana is a little bit different than Michigan. It has a little bit less banking. I believe 2 degrees less in the corners. And so it is it's a little bit more difficult to make the pass around the outside. At Michigan, lane 2 is almost the preferred lane. Here at Fontana, if you can run right around the bottom, it is very difficult to get around a determined car that hugs the white line. And if you want to think of lanes, well, look at the white line on the bottom. Look at the seams, the black lines in the middle of the track. Those are the seams in the banking. Each one of those is a lane for these Indy cars, and so you count them 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and they can run 5 wide here. We've seen them push 6 wide in some special events. I don't know if we're going to see that tonight, but it does happen. Thank you so much, Zero Alexandria, from joining in as well. Do want to thank everybody in the audience. Rick, no Clindy tonight. He's off testing at Portland. Ryan Eric King is the normal second in the booth. And Ryan Eric King is off on assignment for Jalopnik, and so we've given him a pass. He's got to go do his day job. Jason Collins, leads at Micah Mixer second. He's going to come under fire from Will Stearns. Grandpa is going to throw the Van Halen livery to the bottom. Will Stearns is going to go from 3rd to 1st in 1 straightaway. So move Will Stearns to the lead. Jason Collins is 2nd. Micah Mixer is now 3rd, and he's under fire from Turner Johnson in 4th. They're getting kind of racy there back in the pack around Hugo Gallas. That's Gary Lovern. You've got Matt Wagner. Mike Rigney is back there in that fight. Rigney and Lovern almost netcode together. Jeff Heisong is back there as well. Mason Mitchum appears to have started from the pit lane. He is already 3 laps in arrears. But these cars back here trying to sort themselves out. That's Mike Rigney, the ISRA. Very much a laconic, I call him laconic, long distance racer. And so it's not where you start these things, it's where you finish them. As we come to get lap number 10, Will Stearns is your leader at the front. And now it's started to settle down into a pattern. You're going to have a couple of cars up at the front, Jason Collins and Will Stearns, that are content to kind of slingshot back and forth with each other, maintain that lead. That does 2 things. The first is it calms the cars behind him. If it calms the cars behind him, it makes it very difficult to pass. The other thing it's doing is it is keeping the pace extremely quick. Last time through, 33.283 for Will Stearns, 33.375 for Jason Collins. Micah Mixer did a 2:21 These cars are running a very quick pace. Anna, don't know if Mason Mitchum had wing damage. I don't know if Mason Mitchum had wing damage, but he did come to pit lane. He was only in the box for 1.3 seconds. So that seems to me that he started with some sort of a penalty. But we'll keep an eye on Mason Mitchum. It is a long race. We've only got 220 miles to go, which at this rate, if there are no cautions, Rick, take us about an hour. The bets, Anna says 2, Samantha says 3. I have a feeling with the fuel as low as it is, we'll get back. There's Andrew Serwag. He's made it to 6th. He's got Frank Wynn right behind him. In the Japan Candy Store machine, Eric Peterson runs along in 8th for the Dark Horse Racing League, and he's got Mark Cohn for the Joy of Driving right behind him, and Lith Fox runs along in 10th. I got to think these guys, they're saving fuel. They're just kind of waiting. We'll jump on board Lith Fox. We'll get the telemetry up here and see what we can see. That's what it looks like, folks, in the draft. Mason Mitchum disconnected, so that's the reason that he is out, or that he's 3 laps down. But he's still out there, still plenty of time. Lith Fox working to the inside of Eric Peterson. He'll go to 9th. And we're seeing people start to pull themselves forward. One of those is Mark Cohn. Cohn started 14th. He is 9th. And look, in a race such as this one, where it's it's a fuel conservation game, you're going to have a large number of people that are going to want to conserve fuel. You're going to have some guys who say, look, I don't care. I'm going to get the hammer down. I'm going to run as hard as possible. The thing you'll notice that's different from qualifying, Cohn, way off the throttle at the bottom of the track. The dirty air forces you to lift here 205 miles an hour in the middle of that corner. Back to the front, Grandpa Will Stearns leads it. He shot into the lead. Turner Johnson second. That's a move for the Votive Racing League machine, and that's going to demote Jason Collins to 3rd. He doesn't want to be 3rd. He's going to look to draft back up there. You've got Micah Mixer in 4th. And then the rainbow-hued machine, that is the only double winner of the season, Alex Miller, running along in 5th. Working along lap number 16, already 16 and a half laps down. Coming to get lap 17. Will Stearns dives it to the bottom. He's going to have Micah Mixer in tow. It is very difficult. It is very difficult here to follow behind another car and hold the machine wide open. We do have another car a lap down. That is Gary Lovern. And so we're going to go back and show. We'll see what we can see. Exits pit lane here. And don't see any damage. He had lost a front wing in that draft. Poor Gary Lovern. He is so very good at these speedways. And Gary, tough break for Gary Lovern. He's going to be forced to bring his car in for repair of that front wing. The good news is now he can, his strategy decision is made for him. Gary is going to have to stand on it. We're going back to the front, and that is Turner Johnson, Will Stearns, Micah Mixer, still working from the front of this field. Jason Collins has fallen to the back momentarily. Mark Cohn, he continues to pull toward the front. Shane Coker points out that Gary Lovern was damaged from contact with Eric Peterson, and it does not take much, especially at this track and especially at these speeds. You do tend to get a lot of phantom contact, a lot of net code, and also it is very easy to drift up into another lane if you misjudge how much speed you're carrying into a corner. That is probably not the first broken wing that we're going to see tonight. And if Gary is able to continue along. He may be in decent shape. There he is. He's not in the draft. Another car not in the draft. That is the Arrow McLaren liveried machine, a VH car. He's about 4 seconds behind the pack, and that's what that looks like from his on board. They look like ants up there. They're almost a half a mile ahead of VH car. Back to the front we go because it's starting to get spicy. Turner Johnson just went to the front. They're 3 wide behind him for what is effectively third. That's Miller on the top, Micah Mixer in the middle, Jason Collins on the bottom. You've got Will Stearns up there in the Van Halen car. He's on the top. They get 2 by 2. Now 3 wide as Micah Mixer throws it to the bottom. And Mark Cohn has decided he's going to stick his nose up here, and he wants to go for the front row. Right on board right now with Mark Cohn. You see him, he's going to get past Micah Mixer. They get single file momentarily. Mixer comes back on the bottom, and I would surmise and suspect that Mark Cohn is saving fuel while he's doing this. Let's watch the telemetry and listen to the number 39. Yeah, you can hear him getting off the throttle. Cohn's playing this kind of coy. He's able to go fast in the draft and save a little bit of gas. Look out for that number 39 rather. He's gone to 4th. Now he's going to be 3rd. He's going to get to the high side of Will Stearns. Mark Cohn pulls the left front along the right rear momentarily of Turner Johnson. Mark Cohn is going for the front. Drops to the inside of Micah Mixer. There is 2nd, and he is going to have the lead when they get off of turn number 4. Turner Johnson, no match for that number 39 down on the bottom, and here comes Mark Cohn. He'll have the lead at lap number 23 of 100, at the end of 23, coming to 124. You are watching the Horizon IndyCar Series live here on the P1 Broadcasting Network. Mark Murphy with you. Normally, Ryan Eric King would be with us too, the wreck, on assignment from Jalotnik this weekend, and so he is not able to be here with us. So I am solo in the booth. The good news is that this one is a quick one. We are already 24 laps down of 120, and we're going to be looking for pit stops here in the next 10 to 15 laps. I would be shocked and surprised as we see Frank Wynn pull himself off of the pit lane. I would be shocked if we see anybody make this in 2 stops. It would be very very odd if somebody was able to make 90% fuel work for 40 laps. I don't necessarily think that 6th gear works for saving fuel, Rick. We've seen Robert Malechka go 46, 47 laps here on a full tank, which boggles my mind. The trick is to run as light throttle as you can. Doesn't matter the gear. In iRacing, the fuel is monitored based on throttle position, and in IndyCar, it's combined with fuel maps. And so you want to make sure that you are using the throttle as little as possible. Not necessarily the gearing. The gearing and the RPM actually don't play into it. It's fuel maps and throttle position only that calculate the fuel. Speaking of calculations, we were just watching Mark Cohn. He shot to the lead, got up, led his lap. Micah Mixer went back to the point. Cohn has dropped back to 5th. Mixer now leads Turner Johnson, and Alex Miller has stuck his nose up into the fight, as has Andrew Surowiak. Do want to thank everybody for joining in on the P1 Broadcasting Network. Mark Murphy here, Ryan Eric King on assignment with Jalotnik. So I am by my lonesome. We're watching a heck of an automobile race, though. Micah Mixer leads the action here in the Horizon IndyCar Series. From Turner Johnson, Andrew Miller, Andrew Surowiak, and Mark Cohn. Turner Johnson bolts back into the lead over Micah Mixer. So move Turner Johnson to the lead, Mixer to second. Alex Miller will hold third. Other notables, Frank Wynn, he's experienced some trouble. Had to make an early pit stop, 8 seconds for Frankie. He's got the good news for Frankie though is he's got VH Car back there with him, so he's got somebody to work with. Frank Wynn, the last time through, 32.706, 33.437 for the leader, and so Frank Wynn, because he's got VH Car and because he's got somebody to draft with and somebody to pull that slingshot with, and both of those cars are going to be max fuel now, they're going to be able to catch these leaders. And Frank Wynn may be in a better position than we think. 33.031 the last time through. We'll check it this time. That is the pack in front of him. If he is able to catch that pack before their green flag pit stops begin, that is going to be a massive advantage. Frank Wynn. That time through, 33.106, 33.695 for Turner Johnson. So Frank Wynn is chopping them down half a second a lap. The problem for Frank is he's about 2.5, 3 seconds off the back of that group, but he needs to get there. The sooner he can get there, the better it is for Frank Wynn. That is one of the strategies that you can do, and we did not see any contact between Frankie Wynn and Will Stearns. There runs Will. He has dropped back in the pack from his early lead. And it could be that I just missed it, but thank you so much, Dirty Quai, for pointing that out. But there you see Frank Wynn. He's pulling into the picture. All is not lost for Frank Wynn. If he's able to just, he's going to be obviously full tilt, full rich for the remainder of this race. If he's able to get into that draft and slingshot past it, he may very well be able to catch this field, and that is some close quarters racing here in the back. Mike Rigney drops to the bottom of Joseph Morales. They've got Eric Peterson and Hugo Gallas in there. Jeff Heisong also involved in that battle. We're watching 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, but the ladder move is going to come from Frank Wynn. This is the alternate strategy. Frankie is going to be flat out, fast as she goes, not worried about fuel, and he is that last time through just another couple of tenths quicker than the leader. So Frank Wynn continues to catch the group. We'll keep an eye on Frankie Wynn. We're going to jump back to the front of the field because it's Matt Wagner that's taking his turn from Turner Johnson, Micah Mixer. Lith Fox has moved into fourth, and Jason Collins will round out your top five. And thank you, Rick, for spotting that. It's hard for me to see sometimes and spot all of the action. It's Jason Collins' home track, and so we'll keep an eye on that and his progress. He runs along in fifth, looking at the front of the field. It's Matty Wagner, Turner Johnson, Micah Mixer as they go. The good news for Frank Wynn is I think, and we'll get back to him, but I think Frankie has now caught the draft. So he should be in the draft, and he needs to get going as soon as possible. We see Will Stearns drop off. He's going to head for the pit lane. VH Car also dropped into pit, so lap 35, and this is huge for Frank Wynn right here because he got the draft. He is going to be able to run some absolute zonker laps, and let's see if he's able to continue along in the lead or continue along. Matt Wagner is going to drop into the pit lane. That's going to put Turner Johnson into the lead from Micah Mixer and Lith Fox. Matty Wagner, Jacob Wilson, Joseph Morales, they're all on the pit lane. Will Stearns has left his pit box, so Stearns is gone, as is VH Car. Back on to the California Speedway, Gary Lovern has now moved into 18th, so he's going to start passing some of those cars. It's going to be interesting to see where Frank Wynn pops out because he is now back into the back of this pack. He's got the advantage of the draft. He's running absolutely full rich. Turner Johnson hits pit road, as does Micah Mixer and Jason Collins, and that's going to promote Lith Fox to the lead. He's made it 38 circuits. He's got Alex Miller and Daniel Durazo in tow behind him, as well as Andrew Surowiak. How much further can these cars go? 38 of 120 complete. Lith Fox has the lead in the middle of the pit cycle. Frank Wynn is the leader of the alternate strategy. The people that are going to make an extra pit stop, Lith Fox, he's going to go one more, and so are Miller, Durazo, Surowiak, and Cohn behind him. Lith Fox makes it to lap number 39. Coming to get that magic lap number 40. Alex Miller drops into the pit lane, and now Lith Fox, Andrew Surowiak, and Mark Cohn are the only automobiles that have made it through lap number 40, working lap 40 of 120 as we come. And there you see Frank Wynn. He has caught the back of the draft for Mark Cohn. We're awaiting the pit stops for Lith Fox and group. Here comes Lith, here comes Surowiak, here comes Cohn, and we're going to cover them. They come to the pit lane. Mark Cohn with an excellent pit entry. He picked up almost a full second on Andrew Surowiak. They'll go side by side in the drag race to their pit boxes, and we'll watch the pit stop for your leader, Lith Fox. And this is huge. Fox crossed the line in the pit lane, 41 laps on that run. If he can do that again, he'll only need to go 38 to end this race, and that would be huge. Already down and away, 8.7 seconds in the box. 9.1 for Surowiak, 8.7 for Mark Cohn, and we're going to see where this group comes out. Lith Fox tunes his car up, gets it going out to the front. The leader of the race at this moment is Frank Wynn. He is swapping with Matt Wagner, and those two have broken away from the field, and that is huge. They have nearly a 3-second advantage over Turner Johnson. The problem for Turner Johnson, by the way, is that he does not have anybody around him to draft with. He's kind of in a bubble by himself, about 3/4 of a second. Back to Jason Collins, Lith Fox, and Gary Lovern, who's pulled himself back onto the lead lap. Gary Lovern is going to have to pit again here in the next 8 to 10 laps or so. But hey, caution comes out. Gary Lovern's in a good spot. But this is bad news for Turner Johnson, because Wagner and Frank Wynn, they're up there getting with the program. Wagner stopped 5 laps ago, so that tells me he knows he's not going to make it in the two-stopper. Frank Wynn, he knows he can't make the two-stopper, and so he is absolutely going for all he's worth. And these two on the alternate strategy, they're pulling the swap. Last time through, 32,877. Turner Johnson, 33,166. Jason Collins gobbled Turner Johnson up, and we'll see if they're able to get organized and start pulling the freight train, because they've got the rest of the field lined up behind them. Do want to welcome Blue Crab into the chat. Come on, Johnson, come on, he says. There's Turner Johnson. He is third. This is the battle for third. They're going to start slingshotting back and forth. They've got to try to catch Matt Wagner and Frank Wynn, who are slingshotting and leading this thing the last time through. Wagner 32.8. 3-1, Jason Collins 32.969. So this second group is still losing out. Do want to highlight Gary Lovern here in the Velocity Online Racing Machine. Lovern, he runs along in 5th on the track. He's got Lith Fox behind him. Fox is going to go past. Gary Lovern is going to come and hit the pit lane. He was out 31 laps, and so Gary Lovern has decided that he is done for this stint. He's going to come get some fresh rubber, get himself a full tank of Shell fuel. That's going to promote Lith Fox up to 6th. He would have been 5th. He immediately lets Alex Miller go by, as well as Daniel Durazo. Lith Fox is playing a foxy game here. He was the longest on that last run. Lith Fox, Mark Cohn, and Andrew Surowiak all went the 40 laps plus. And so they're in position to make this a two-stopper. They still do need to save quite a bit of fuel. You've got to save it on all three stints to make it in two stops. Turner Johnson, he is still slingshotting with Jason Collins. The last time through, 33,393 for Johnson, 33,260 for Collins. They are still about a tenth off of Wynn and Wagner, who have pulled out now to a nearly 4-second gap. And that is huge. And that's what you'll often see here at California. Long green flag runs and pit stops. They're going to break up the pack, and they're going to make it so that it is very, they're going to make it so that you wind up with a lot of smaller drafts around the track. And we've seen now two cars break away. That's Matty Wagner and Frank Wynn, and here they are. They are slingshotting back and forth for the lead now with a 4-second advantage over Alex Miller, Jason Collins, Daniel Durazo, and Turner Johnson. And you got to wonder if there's any sort of communication between these drivers here. Hey, we're losing. Is there anybody else that wants to get up here and do the swap? If you're Daniel Durazo, your whole goal here is to not interfere. And you're right, Blue Crab. Johnson and Collins are trading harder than harder than if they were on the floor in Wall Street. And so are Matty Wagner and Frank Wynn. Look, they know, Wagner and Wynn know their chance to win the race is to build a gap, because they know that Lith Fox is in this group, and they know that Lith Fox is going to be able, maybe, if he's able to save here, make it in just one more stop. And so they're going to have to go around the extra time. The problem for Wagner and Wynn is that they're going to get separated. Frank Wynn only has maybe 10 laps of fuel left, 8 to 10. And we'll get the stint time up here. Matty Wagner, he's been out 13 laps. Frank Wynn 26. Alex Miller 9, but there you see, I don't have the fancy telestrator like Gary Godso, but Lith Fox with 9 laps on his tank, Mark Cohn, Andrew Sorwack, those are the cars that you want to circle as maybe being able to make this in one more stop. For Wynn and Wagner, they need to get gone, and they are getting gone. They are pulling away now, 5.4 seconds ahead of Alex Miller, Turner Johnson, Jason Collins, and that pack that is chasing them. They are pulling away, but they're only going to be together for about another 10 laps, and then you're going to run into a problem because the pack is going to start catching Matty Wagner, even at a slow slingshot rate. The pack is going to be faster than Wags as we flop back. Turner Johnson is now taking the point in that second group, and he is going to swap with Alex Miller. Jason Collins has moved to the shotgun position in third. And if you're in that shotgun position in third, it is your job to not interfere with the two people who are swapping. You just want to kind of be status quo. Don't do anything. Let the front two do their thing, because they're the ones that are doing the work. The last time through, Turner Johnson 33 flat. Frank Wynn still 0.2 of a second quicker. 5.5 seconds now is the interval between Wynn and Miller, and that is all important. And that is important too, because that means Frank Wynn, when he comes out, he may come out ahead of the pack. And so we're going to have to keep an eye on Frank Wynn when he pits and when he does and where he comes out, because that could be a huge factor in this race. If he comes out, let's say, a second ahead of Turner Johnson, this pack is going to gain a second that much quicker on the leader, Matt Wagner, and Wagner is going to have to be out there for about 15 laps by himself. The Blue Crab says he bets on a caution, bunching him up. Well, that's the thing. You can't really rely on a caution. If you're to look at this field from the blimp, they're all lined up single file, and the reason is they are all hard saving fuel. There's Mark Cohn. He's one of the ones that we think might be able to do it in one more stop. Andrew Surwack in the in the black and orange Gatorade machine. He's one that we think can make it in one more stop. Outside chance for the cars of Alex Miller, Daniel Durazo, Eric Peterson, Nate Fields, Jeff Hysong. They're all on 14 laps. Anybody who stopped at lap 38 or sooner, I would assume is not going to be able to make this on the two-stop strategy. Back to the front we go. Matt Wagner and Frank Wynn, they've got some help. They've caught the lap car of VH car, and that helps them too, because they can use the draft of the lapper to pull themselves ahead. VH car goes the lap down. He's going to want to tuck right in behind these leaders, and he'll want to do the same thing. He doesn't want to race for his lead lap position. He wants to follow them and get as far ahead of the pack as he can, so that when pit stops do occur, he can try to leapfrog and get some track position. And here comes Frank Wynn. So Frank Wynn is going to come into the pit lane, and as we said, we're going to cover where he comes out, because that is huge in the context of this race. Matt Wagner got a gift because he's got VH Carr to draft with. Carr has not shown that he is comfortable in the pack, but maybe he'll be comfortable slingshotting. Do thank Shane Coker for his duties in race control, and do thank everybody for joining us here on the P1 Broadcasting Network. We are watching Frank Wynn's pit stop, lap 57 of 120 here in the Horizon IndyCar Series. If you haven't already done it, make sure you ring the bell, subscribe to the P1 Broadcasting Network, so that you can be notified of all future iRacing action on the channel. Make sure you hit the like button on the video too. We do thank you for those things. Frank Wynn is coming out. Here he is. And where is the pack? There's the pack. And so Frank Wynn is going to slot in about, and I say about, a second ahead of this pack. So the pack will gain 1 second on Frank Wynn and Matty Wagner just by virtue of that pit stop. Wagner is not able to affect the slingshot with VH Carr. Carr losing a little bit of time back, and that's going to put the focus on Turner Johnson and Alex Miller as they catch Frank Wynn. The thing about that is they are 5.8, 5.7 seconds behind Matty Wagner. Now the question is, does Frank Wynn work with Alex Miller and start to slingshot with the 49? Or does he ride knowing that these cars are due for service here in about 10 laps, save a little bit of gas, and understand that he's going to pop out right with Matt Wagner with a 5-second lead one more time? Alex Miller, the last time through, 32.619, 33.176 for Wags. This will be Miller's first time by himself, and Frank Wynn has elected to save the fuel. He will not slingshot. That's going to bring Turner Johnson up by Frankie Wynn. And Turner Johnson is going to get up there, and Turner Johnson is going to want to start the slingshot. Miller and Wagner equal the last time through, and give Matty Wagner his due. He played the strategy just about right. And here you see it off the gearbox. This is the reward. That's a lap car behind him. And those very small automobiles that you see coming off of turn 4, that is the pack. He has a full length of the front straightaway lead for Matt Wagner. Turner Johnson, Alex Miller have gotten organized now. They are going to try to slingshot ahead, see if they can't get ahead. See if they can't start making some time on Matt Wagner and Frank Wynn. Wynn has dropped back in this pack. He does not need to stay up there. Frank Wynn can be content to let these cars pull him along. That's just fine, because he knows when the cycle completes, he'll be right with Matt Wagner, and they'll have about a 5-second lead one more time. Turner Johnson, Alex Miller slingshot themselves ahead. Give a call down to Lith Fox as well. We do want to continue to monitor Lith's progress. Pulling up on the back of Frankie Wynn. Lith, we think 22 laps on that tank. We think that Lith Fox may be in position to do this one more time. And Rick, I think they are working together to catch Wags. The thing is, if you don't execute the slingshot correctly, it doesn't gain you any time. So you have to be, if you're going to execute the slingshot, if you're Turner Johnson and you're Alex Miller, they are doing it. They are working together, but you need to make sure that you're catching each other in the right places, you're slingshotting in the right places, and so on. You're not giving the car dirty air and so forth. I'd like to see Turner Johnson remain high there, fall a little bit further back so that he can get a little bit more top speed in there to slingshot past Alex Miller. The other thing is these guys here, they're trying to save fuel. They're only a couple of 3 laps short, and so they're thinking if there's a caution, they might want to stay out here. You see the car of Mark Cohn, the blue and white machine. They're a little bit further in the back. He's another one that we think might be going the distance on one more, as is Andrew Surowac. And Surowac right there with Mark Cohn. Also in the picture, you've got Daniel the Cat Durazo. He is 7th. Hugo Gallas in the Velocity Online Racing Machine is 8th. Andrew Surowac 9th. Mark Cohn 10th. Eric Peterson in the Menards Highlighter Yellow and Orange for the Dark Horse Racing League runs along in 11th. And then, of course, you've got the one that my daughter cheers for. That's Jeff Heisong sporting the bluey colors in 12th. Get back to it. They're still swapping. They're still working together. 33-165, 33-121 for Johnson and Miller, 33-088 for Matt Wagner. And I think that's a function of Wags. He's up here running it flat out. These guys are slingshotting and also trying to save fuel. And at lap 67 of 120, we are nearing that second scheduled stop for the balance of the field. So the Blue Crab wants to know, do they think they might lose places if they go for the draft? No, I think they are drafting and they're working together. I think it's more a case of these front two. If you're behind them, let's say you're Jacob Wilson now, that's pulled into 4th place behind these two. If you've got two guys that are working the draft together, the slingshot draft like that, the last thing you want to do is interfere with them. You don't want to pull up with them. You don't want to try to race them, because it throws off the rhythm and the timing, and that can ruin the races of the entire group. So the entire group is vested in Alex Miller and Turner Johnson doing what they're doing. The rest of this crew is saving gas. Matt Wagner has pulled in to get service for his second pit stop, and so we do want to follow Wags, because that's a thing. Where is Matty Wagner gonna come out here? Here he is. He pulls the Horizon machine into the pit lane, slides it to a stop. Up on the jacks it goes. No, Rick, absolutely not. Wagner is not saving fuel. Neither is Frank Wynn. But those two need to come out together. 8.2 seconds in the box for Wags. Here he comes, and we're going to see where he comes out in relation to the pack. There they are. Is Wagner going to come out outside the draft envelope? I don't believe he is. There's the roll bar of Alex Miller. There's Matt Wagner ahead of him. The interval is below 1.8 seconds, and so Alex Miller will get the free 1.8 on Matty Wagner. And you see Wags, he drops to the bottom. He knows breaking that draft is extremely important because he's essentially giving away a free 1.5 to 2 seconds worth of time to Alex Miller. He is not going to allow Alex Miller to have that draft. The Blue Crab is probably right. The Sharks do smell blood. Alex Miller knows this is free time. If he can draft up behind Matty Wagner, he knows it. And he is going to want to do that. He also knows, Alex Miller also knows he's pulled away from Turner Johnson. Johnson has backed way out of it. And there he is, run along in what is scored as second place. Jacob Wilson is third. And now the pack has started to string apart even a little bit more at lap 72. So you've got different agendas. Some guys are going to turn this thing up. Some guys are going to save fuel. Here comes Jacob Wilson to the pit lane. Here comes Turner Johnson to the pit lane. They are out of it as far as one more stop. But I'll tell you who's not, Lith Fox. And there he's got a friend in Frankie Wynn who can jump in front and pull him along. Frank Wynn will jump to the front of this pack. Ooh, we had a car up in the wall. That appears to be Micah Mixer. Grays the outside wall. Turn number 2 keeps it moving in the right direction. And Rick, I got to bill you right over. Makes it to lap 81. May win the race. And right now, the person making it to lap 81, Micah Mixer, pulls it onto pit lane. Right now, there are 3 cars in line to make it to lap 81 or even 82. Lith Fox, Mark Cohn, and Andrew Surwack are the cars that we're watching. Mixer comes back out onto the speedway. Those are the cars that we're watching to make the distance here. Wagner is now all by himself, and Frank Wynn got caught in the pack. Wynn is not out there to help him this time, and so that's bad news for Matty Wagner. Jason Collins has pulled his machine onto the pit lane. As we continue to watch, Frank Wynn is going to be scored second when all this is said and done. Wagner is going to be the leader, and Wags is going to have what I think is about a 5-second lead over Wynn. Wynn is going to have about a 5-second lead over the pack. And so that's kind of where we're at as we work lap 75. Coming to get 76, the Bluey machine, Jeff Heisong, pulls it off into pit lane. That's about where we're at here. Want to see some lap times. So here we go. We'll go last lap and we'll go fastest lap in mile an hour to kind of give you guys an illustration. 222 is 222 miles an hour and change is about terminal velocity in the draft. The last lap through, Daniel Durazo, Andrew Surwack, 215 miles an hour. So the fastest lap for Durazo, 32.4. Last time through, 33 flat. And so that's the score here in terms of pace. They're about a second. Lith Fox the last time through, 33.801, 32.7 his best. So they're about anywhere from a second to a half a second off a terminal, off of outright top end pace, as Durazo pulls it into pit lane. And Rick is right. Matt Wagner is in the catbird seat in terms of pace. He's got about a 5-second lead over Frankie Wynn, who is now pulled in behind Andrew Surwack. And there's the battle between Surwack and Frank Wynn. Now Surwack is going to come in. Now he was one of the ones that had gone long the first time. He does not make it. Eric Peterson, too fast, exiting pit lane, and he's going to have the black flag. And so tough break for Eric Peterson. He is going to have to serve that. Right now, all eyes on these two, Lith Fox and Mark Cohn, and they've been given a gift because they've got Turner Johnson and Joseph Morales in front of them to draft. These two cars right here are the ones that are going to try to make it, and they are going to go for another, coming to get lap 80, and we're going to switch to laps to go. 41 to go for Lith Fox and Mark Cohn, and they are going slow, y'all. Last lap through, 34.201 for Lith Fox, 34.281 for Cohn. They are very much light-footing around the California Speedway, and I don't know if they're going to be able to go another lap. I think both of them are going to come into the pit lane. Here comes Lith Fox. Here comes Mark Cohn. They are out of gas. Eric Peterson is coming to serve his penalty, but they made it to 40 laps to go, and they've both done 41 in a stint. And so those two could be in pretty doggone good shape. That's going to turn the lead over as soon as he matriculates past the pit lane to Matty Wagner. Wagner going to take the lead, and he has built a 6-second gap over Alex Miller. Frank Wynn is a part of that group. There they are. Miller and Frank Wynn are together, and I don't see that they are really working together as Eric Peterson comes off the pit lane. It would be to their advantage to start getting the slingshot going, see if they can draw away not only from the group behind him, but try to catch Matty Wagner. And they're not doing it. And both of these cars do have one more stop. Everybody is going to have one more stop, with the exception of Lith Fox and Mark Cohn, maybe. Fox and Cohn have come back onto the racetrack, and here they are. Cohn is by himself. Lith Fox has kind of hung on to the back, but Mark Cohn 10 seconds behind Lith Fox. So Mark Cohn had a rough pit entry, rough pit exit, excuse me. Lith Fox may have this thing wrapped up if he can make it the 40 laps that are going to be required to bring this car home. And he's got some drafting help in front of him in the form of Andrew Surwack and Will Stearns. Those two are going to have to pit, although Surwack is only 4 laps out, so he'll be able to go the longest. And Stearns and Surwack are swapping. The cars that are not swapping, up at the front, Frank Wynn and Alex Miller, they are not swapping. Micah Mixer goes fastest lap of the race, 32.313, 223 miles an hour. And Rick, I have to believe, Billy, you're right. This is going to be a really interesting race at the end in terms of fuel strategy converging, fuel strategies playing out. Is Lith Fox going to make it? Mark Cohn is now a lap down. Mark Cohn has now gone a lap down to Matty Wagner. And there you see Cohn. He's fallen in behind Wags. And I almost think that is Mark Cohn getting a tow home from the leader. Those two are good friends. They are in Discord together. And I got to believe Mark Cohn might have noticed, hey, I've lost the draft. I'm a half a lap down. I'll go the full lap down just so I can have somebody to draft with, knowing that he'll make that lap up when everybody else comes to the pit lane. And so 3D chess being played by the driver of the number 39 Joy of Driving machine. 35 laps to go here. Joseph Morales has pulled his machine into the pit lane. Lith Fox still drafting with Surwack and Stearns. We'll reset the top 10 for you. There's Matt Wagner. He is your leader in second. In second, Alex Miller, and there he is in the Rainbow Machine. He is followed by Turner Johnson, and there's Turner for Votive Racing League. Frank Wynn for Japan Candy Stand is fourth. And Jeff Hysong, Bluey, graces the side of that. Dallara, he is fifth. Jason Collins for Quincy is sixth. He is followed by Jacob D. Wilson in seventh. You've got Daniel DeCat Durazo in eighth. Hugo Galez is ninth. And Mike Rigney rounds out the top 10. He's following and saving fuel off of, presumably. Now he's slingshotting with Gary Lover. Nate Fields is 11th. And there's Nate as he comes through. Grandpa Will Stearns in the Van Halen livery is 12th. He's got Andrew Surwack in 13th and Lith Fox in 14th in close attendance. Mark Cohn is a lap down, drafting behind Matt Wagner. And I'm not saying that Wagner let that happen. I'm saying, just judging from the lap times, it appeared as though Cohn recognized the situation he was in and understood that going a lap down here might be to his benefit because it gives him the draft. Wagner is not slowing up. He's still 33 flat, which is flat out no draft pace. But Cohn is able to save fuel drafting behind him, and so keep an eye on that. Eric Peterson had the speeding ticket. He is drafting along with Turner Johnson and Alex Miller there, interjecting into the battle for second. Micah Mixer is a part of that group. Mixer 16 laps on his current fuel run. He is the black and rainbow car there, the number 28. He is 1 lap in arrears in 17th. We've talked about Gary Lovren, had the broken front wing early. He is a lap down, 11 laps out on his current run. He is drafting along with Mike Rigney. VH car in the Aero McLaren liveried machine is 19th, and there he is 1 lap down. Joseph Morales is 20th. Morales also a lap down. Mason Mitchum with the faulty connection has finally called it quits. And you're right. I mean, Blue Crab, you're exactly right. Turner Johnson, as Frank Wynn is going to come in, make his final stop. Turner Johnson, he needs to work with somebody, anybody. Alex Miller is up there working with Eric Peterson right now. Peterson with a vested interest in catching Matt Wagner. He wants his lap back. But these guys all have a vested interest in getting organized and starting to try to reel in Matt Wagner. That last time through with Peterson and Alex Miller working on it, they're finally starting to pick up time. It was a 10th that time through. Do want to say hello to Kathy, and thank you for stopping in. Good evening to you as well. We are working 28 laps to go here in the Horizon IndyCar Series. It's Matt Wagner with a big-time 5.1 second lead over Alex Miller and Turner Johnson. We're watching Alex Miller swap draft with the lapped machine of Eric Peterson. The other story of this race is this man, Lith Fox. Lith Fox may be able to go the distance without another stop if he's able to save enough fuel. He's got Andrew Surwack in front of him to draft off of. They have lost the draft, lost the pack. They are significantly slower than everybody else around them. But Lith Fox just trying to make it home on the fuel in the tank, and let's see if he can do it. Same for this man, Mark Cohn, and you see Cohn drafting along behind leader Matt Wagner. It's one of those situations for Cohn. It's almost better to be a lap down and in the draft than it is by yourself and running full throttle. And Cohn has the advantage of having that drafting partner in front of him. It all is going to come down to two things, though. It's going to come down to Wagner's pit in and pit exit. And it's going to come down to whether or not some of these cars, whether they take tires or fuel only. They should only need, my guess, rule of thumb, full rich, by the way, rule of thumb is 2 laps per gallon here at Fontana. So if they come in with 10 to go, they're only going to need 5 gallons. That qualifies as a timed fuel stop. Get out and see if you can't win the race. Who's going to be the brave one and not take tires, just take the splash of fuel? But we'll see. Do want to thank everybody who's got this tuned in. Kathy A says, Team Albert here. Well, we're glad to have you. Most certainly glad to have you, Kathy. And I don't think it's intentional, Blue Crab. I don't think they're delaying anything. I think what you've got is a situation. Where you have some guys, Alex Miller, Turner Johnson, Jacob D. Wilson up there, who just may not be as experienced with that swap draft, and they're not as familiar with how to execute it. There's a very specific way that you've got to do it in order to gain time, and if you don't do it right, you wind up going slower. Eric Peterson, he is an old hand, an grizzled veteran from in this car from the IR05, DW12, the IR18. Eric Peterson's a guy that knows how to run this car. When Peterson got to the front, they started going faster. And we do not want to lose track of Frank Wynn in all this, because here's Frank. He has made his final stop 5 laps ago, and Frank Wynn has got his car turned all the way up, going absolute all bent for leather here, trying to catch the pack. He's got the draft of Mike Rigney and Joseph Morales in front of him. And I want everybody to kind of picture the draft when it gets strung out like this, like a ladder. Okay, if you come out in the draft envelope of the car in front of you, it is only a matter of time until, just like pulling rungs up a ladder, you reel yourself into them. And so that is a huge advantage for Frank Wynn. This will be the second time in the race that he's been able to execute that. And pit stops have already begun. Matt Wagner has hit the pit lane, and this is big. Where is Wags going to come out on the track? Is he going to come out by himself? Is he going to have another car around him to start that ladder effect? We'll see. He'll pull the number 6 to a stop. It's going to go up. Wagner is going to take tires. You also can see Andrew Surwack pulling in. Surwack has given up the ghost. He will not be making it to the end on his fuel. Away goes Wagner with 20 laps to go, and he is going to come out in the pack. Matt Wagner is going to come out in the pack, and that is huge for Matty Wagner. Not so good for everybody else, because you lose 2 to 3 seconds to the pack if you pit from it. Wagner's job now is going to be to get to the front of the pack. He wants to get as far up as he can, so that when this man, Alex Miller, makes his stop, he has as big of an advantage as possible. Miller last stopped on lap number 29. That means he's going to be doing anywhere from 6 to 10 laps, we would assume. And you're right, Blue Crab, he did close the gap. We'll see if they need tires or not, Rick. It depends on the setup. Fontana can be very difficult on right fronts, especially in the draft. It can be a very difficult track on right rears late in the run. If you've been in the draft and you've turned the weight jacker up too high, we do want to watch Matt Wagner as he carves his way through this draft. He desperately wants to get back to the front of it before Alex Miller comes into the pit lane, because the closer he gets to Miller, the further away Miller is going to be when Miller comes out. Remember, you lose a lap plus about 3 to 5 seconds when you pit here under green. And so, yes, Wagner knows that. He's using that ladder effect, Rick, as I kind of discussed, to pull himself forward. This track has not had a caution flag period in it. Should a caution fly, Eric Peterson right now would be the lucky dog. Matt Wagner, well, he would be forced to take the wave around, assuming everybody pitted. And I don't think if a caution flew right now that this man, Lith Fox, would pit. He is out 23 laps. He is unfortunately on an island by himself. Lith Fox, 35 seconds the last time through. And I think he's doing what Mark Cohn did. He's just trying to back up to the next person that he can draft with, which is this crew of Surwack, Stearns, and Lovern. That is the next group back, and Lith Fox, I think, has just pulled the parachute, and he is going to wait on them to come to him. Meanwhile, Alex Miller has pulled himself onto the pit lane, and this is going to be a big stop. Let's see what the rainbow-colored number 49 machine does here for Next Level and Fanatec. Good-looking car. Is he going to take tires, or is it going to be gas only? Miller pulls in. He only needs 7.5 gallons to make it home, assuming he's empty. That car goes up on the jacks. Alex Miller is going to take tires. That's going to pull us back to your leader, Jeff Highsong in the Bluey car. And there's Highsong. He's pulled out about an 0.8 of a second gap over Jason Collins. Daniel Durazo's a further 3 seconds back. Matt Wagner has now made it past Highsong. So Wagner is now on the lead lap. So is Eric Peterson. So too Micah Mixer. Mixer is going to have to make a pit stop, and there he comes. But right now, Wagner is ahead of the leader. That would mean the first car 1 lap down is going to be Mark Cohn. Cone, as you recall, is one of those that's going to try to make it the distance. He's got to go 39 laps, which means he is likely still saving, and he is at the very back of this group. Maybe not map 8, maybe just kind of partial throttle. Dirty Quai says Lith is praying for a miracle. He may very well. If you want to throw the stream in there, I'll mention it on the air, guys. Lith Fox and Frank Wynn, awesome streamers, and do want to give those guys their due. A lot of fun to watch them. Jeff Heisong is leading it pending his final pit stop. He's been out 33 laps. Here comes Peterson. Here comes Jason Collins. Wagner now is going to have the benefit of Heisong in front of him. And how's this going to work? Wagner has a huge lead over the next car behind him, which is Mark Cone. So because Wagner made the extra stop, Cone is now second. Alex Miller is third. And that is the blue and white and rainbow colored cars behind Wagner. Heisong has come to the pit lane. That's going to promote Hugo Gallas to the lead. Gallas is due to pit momentarily, and that's going to put the onus and all the eyeballs, all of the virtual eyeballs, on Lith Fox. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in to the P1 Broadcasting channel. We've got a nice crowd here tonight. If you haven't already done so, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell to subscribe to the channel so that you can be notified of all future iRacing broadcasts, including the Horizon IndyCar Series. We're going to go just about every other week as Hugo Gallas pulls off, and we'll put the camera on Lith Fox. He is now the leader, and he has got something like 10 seconds in hand, and he's got somewhat of a draft from the Surwack, Lovern, and Stearns group in front of him. Next race in the Horizon IndyCar Series is August 27th. That will be from New Hampshire. September 17th, we'll go to Pocono. September 24th is Kansas. October 1st, we'll have the full course at Road America, and that's going to be fun. Next, on the 10th race of the Horizon IndyCar Series sees us at Phoenix. We're going to do Chicagoland on October 29th. I'm looking forward to that one for sure. November the 5th, they'll be at Iowa, and the finale, November the 19th. 13 races in the Horizon IndyCar Series. November 19th from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We've seen 3 different winners. Alexander Miller has won twice. Daniel Durazo and Liam O'Sullivan have each won once. Right now, the question begs, is it going to be this man, Lith Fox? Is he going to be able to nurse the fuel, or is it going to run dry? He's got 7 more laps. Let's jump on board and have a listen. It doesn't sound... Well, there he is. Did you hear that? He's clutching and coasting in the middle of the corner. Shades of Alexander Rossi in the 100th Indianapolis 500. You heard the clutch go in and the motor go off. Six laps to go. Do want to check in on the other battle because it's Alex Miller and Matt Wagner. They are by themselves. They are swapping. These two are full gas, and they are trying as hard as humanly possible to catch Lith Fox. Last time through, Lith Fox 32.928, Matt Wagner 32.858. So they are catching him, but it is not nearly catching him fast enough. And so Wagner and Alex Miller, they're doing their best, but Lith Fox, as long as he's got the draft of the cars in front of him, it may be lights out time to call in the dogs and put out the fire. If he's got the fuel to make this, Lith Fox is 9 seconds in hand. And listen, if he's on the last lap and he runs out here, he's going to be able to put in the clutch and coast home. Again, shades of Alexander Rossi. In terms of the championship, and that is a great question. Quick second. After 4 races, Alexander Miller is the points leader on 126. Frank Wynn is second with 119. Hugo Gallas, he's third with 118. Lith Fox has 117. Jari Brubaker rounds out the top 5 in the points. Jari is on 114, and I don't believe that Jari Brubaker is here tonight. And so wish Jari the best. Hope he's doing well. Matt Wagner is 6th. Chris Stouffer is 7th. He's running a partial schedule. Daniel Durazo 8th. Jeff Heisong 9th. And Gary Lovern round out the top 10 in points. So that is the situation with respect to the points. It could be a great night for Lith Fox. And there's Lith, and he continues to circulate. He's now got 3 laps to go, and he can't make it. He's coming in. Lith Fox is going to give up the ghost. That is going to hand the lead to this battle between Alex Miller and Matt Wagner. This is now your race after 236 miles. We come to get 2 to go. Alex Miller and Matt Wagner are going to have at it for the lead. Wags shoots to the inside of Alex Miller. As they come down the back, Wagner drops the car to the bottom, and now we are no longer going to play nice. Wagner is going to hug. His goal is to hug the bottom. It's going to be Alex Miller's job to try to pass him. Miller to the high side in the draft. Is he going to go to the bottom? Is he going to go to the top? Is Wags going to throw the block? 1 lap to go. Barney's got the white flag in the air. This is the final lap of the Horizon IndyCar Series from Kentucky. Wagner to the bottom. Alex Miller to the top. And I think Alex Miller is going to try to save it for the last lap. Here's Miller. Wagner jinks to the bottom. Miller's going to go to the high side. They're side by side as they head to turn number 3. Miller is going to pinch Wagner on the bottom. He's going to briefly have the lead. Wags on the bottom. He's going to drop to the apron. They touch, and Alexander Miller is going to cross the line. He's able to drive around the top side. Alexander Miller is your winner. Meanwhile, we do have the remainder of the field crossing the finish line. But Alexander Miller wins it. Matt Wagner is second. Jason Collins will bring it home third. There is an out-of-gas Joseph Morales crossing the line. He will do so in 12th. There's Mark Cohn. Cohn made it, by the way. He had to go very slow out of gas on his last lap. He brings it home in 16th. My goodness gracious. And so it is Alexander Miller, your winner tonight here from the virtual and former Auto Club Speedway in Fontana. Matt Wagner is going to be second. Jason Collins comes home third. In fourth, Hugo Gallas, Jeff Heisong, a nice top 5 run for the Bluey Machine. Turner Johnson, Daniel Durazo, Frank Wynn, Jacob Wilson, and Mike Rigney are going to round out your top 10. In 11th, it's Nate Fields. Joseph Morales is 12th. Andrew Sarawak, 13th. Will Stearns, 14th. Good run for Grandpa. Lith Fox will finish 15th. In 16th, Mark Cohn. Micah Mixer, 17th. Eric Peterson is 18th. Gary Lover, 19th. And VH Carr rounds out the top 20. Mason Mitchum is 21st. And Jari Brubaker is going to be credited with 22nd. He did not take the start and is going to be credited 123 laps down. And there's Jason Collins with the track team. And let's see who we've got in the waiting room. There's Jason Collins. He's pulled into the team track Discord, and we're going to go ahead and pull him right on up. Jason Collins, it's Murph in the P1 Broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
What's up, fellas? How you doing?
Well, it's just me tonight. Ryan Eric King had a real world commitment, and so he was unable to join us. I called this one solo. It was a very cerebral race from my vantage point. You had the track rocket machine up front though for most of the event. Talk to us about your race and what you think you might have done differently there to maybe snag one of those top two spots.
Yeah, it was a very strange auto club race. There was not a lot of swap drafting at the beginning of the race. It seemed like right off the bat, nobody wanted to swap draft. And then halfway through that first stint, things started getting real aggressive there towards the front end. I just kind of dropped back to see what was going to happen. And, there was some contact there between, I think, Frank and Will Stearns. And so really it was just a ride around race. There wasn't really a whole lot going on, and just trying to keep my nose clean and stay out of trouble. Did a pretty good job of saving fuel, but I don't think anyone was going to be able to make it on 2 or 3 stops. I think everybody was kind of in the same boat.
Yeah, very true. And it was kind of interesting to watch guys abandon the 2-stop once they realized it wasn't going to work. Lith Fox gave it the best ride. He had to call it off 2 laps early. Believe it or not, Mark Cohn actually did make it on 2 stops, but he ran out on the last lap and coasted home 16th. So it was interesting to me that once guys realized it wasn't going to work, watching the field kind of string out, and it really got separated during pit stops, and so that was interesting to me too. What else did you see out there other than just riding around? It looked like you and at times you and Turner Johnson were swapping back and forth. Was it a matter of people were trying to swap and save fuel, or was it a matter of maybe guys lacking a little bit of experience with the swap draft, you think?
I think it was swapping and saving fuel. I mean, I spent a majority of that race in map 5, and it was weird because at the beginning of the race, I think it was Mason Mitchum. I took the lead because the leader discoed, and then nobody wanted to pass me. I was like, and I was in map 5, and I was like, what is going on? Like, where is everybody? So it was just very strange. And yeah, the unpackiest auto club race I've ever been in. I mean, it was strung out from basically the word go.
Yes, it was. Well, I thank you so much for dropping in and taking the time. And thank you so much for joining us in the booth. As is the custom here at P1, you get on the podium, you get the mic. Friends, family, sponsor, shout-outs, the floor is yours.
Well, definitely want to thank my teammates at Track Rocket and 4D Racewear. Love their gloves, great product, and just happy to be on the broadcast and a podium again.
Yeah, man. Well, it's good to have you. I'll drop you back down with your teammates, and I want you to keep going fast and having fun, buddy, all right?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mark.
Yes, sir. That is Jason Collins. For the second place finisher, we're going to go ahead and bring up the series director. It's Matty Wagner. And Wags, you gave it a good ride, my man. Talk to us about the end, and talk to us about the end, and how, is there any way you think you could have kept Alex from driving around the top side of you there?
Well, I'm Daniel.
Oh no! I somehow got Daniel. We'll let's try that again.
Oh.
Hey, it's Murph, and it's Murph back in the P1 broadcasting booth. Somehow I got dropped, Wags, into your Discord with Daniel rather than bringing you up into the booth. So that was interesting. So Mark Murphy here in the P1 broadcasting booth. I've got Matty Wagner and Wags. Talk to us a little bit about those last couple of laps. Usually the inside here dominates. Alex was able to drive around the outside. Talk to us a little bit about how that worked and what you think you might have been able to do different.
So I was testing the the last couple of laps, probably about 5, maybe 6, 7 to go. I was testing, see if he was. I put him in the lead, and I was testing, see if I could get a run, and it wasn't quite what I was expecting. When I was testing it, the bottom looked preferred, and I was like, okay, um, let's run the bottom. Just make sure he's not close. Probably if I would have broken the draft a little bit better. I feel like I kind of failed at that, and he let him catch up right to the back of me. Like when he was right beside me going into the corner, I think that's where I kind of lost it, and he had that forward momentum uh, coming off the corner because you'll have the runs as he's running the top line. So yeah, it is what it is, man. Bummer, but second place is no crying shame, man. I'll take it.
No, it's not. I mean, and you're up there in that points battle. Of course, Alex won, and so he's going to pad his lead. But you're going to go past Yari. You should go past Lith, Hugo, and Frank into a solid second place in the championship. And so you've got that going for you. I am a solo man tonight. Ryan Eric King on assignment from Jalopnik couldn't make it, and so I know, man. We missed the wreck. I missed the wreck. My voice at this point misses the wreck, but. Friends, family, sponsor, shout outs, my man. The floor is yours.
Well, big shout out to the field. We went caution free, Murph.
Yeah,
we went caution free.
I know, and that was awesome.
We went by pretty quick. Big shout out to the drivers. I'm more than happy to everybody here. Big shout out to those guys. They put on a hell of a show. They had a choice. I gave them a choice in the setup. So they can save or they can go for it. I got kind of lucky with Wynn's draft. So big shout out to Wynn for giving me that 5-second lead right about halfway. I do appreciate that. You guys in the P1 booth, I know you're missing the wreck and he's not here. And Murph, you do a phenomenal job. Thanks for being a good friend. And guys, been a pleasure. Take care.
Yeah, we appreciate you. We appreciate you, Matty. We'll talk in a little bit. Thank you so much for joining us. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy.
Like always.
That is Matty Wagner. He's the bridesmaid today. And for the bride, we've got the man who pulled the move to the outside in turn number 3 on the final lap. Alex Miller, you are now a 3-time winner this year in the Horizon IndyCar Series. Not only that, it's 2 in a row, and this was completely different. Last time, you were the man saving the gas, everybody chasing you. This time, you got to play the hare to the tortoise of Lith Fox and Mark Cohn. Talk to us about that strategy. When did you realize that it was going to take the extra pit stop? When did you turn it up?
I turned it up about when I saw Matt had a 5-second lead on us after the pit stop somehow. And I was like, okay, I need to get up here. So the people who were leading the pack, it was Turner and someone at that point. They were swap drafting, but we were still losing time to Matt and Frank. So I ended up cranking it into map 1 to get to the lead because I'm like, I think I can at least keep us level, and we managed it. And honestly, even when Frankie pit, we weren't gaining much with the swap draft. It was really weird. I'm assuming it's probably just something iRacing borked with the arrow in the update, or I don't know, setup. I don't know, but it was weird. But we ended up making it work, and then it worked till the end. I did get a little nervous during those final 10 laps that Lith was going to pull that off, but then I saw him. We started gaining like a lot on him, like a lap or 2 before he pit, and I was like, okay, he's in like desperation mode. He isn't making it.
Yeah, I mean, well, and the other thing was, Frankie kind of had some trouble early, and he had to go off strategy, and that's how he wound up out there with Matt, and they were working together. I kind of asked the question to Jason Collins, was it a situation of inexperience, or was it a situation where, he felt perhaps that people were trying to save fuel and swap, and he chalked it up to guys still being in map 5 as they were swapping. And so that could have been it as well. But kudos to you, man. I'm going to tell you something. I've seen a lot of races here, been beaten a lot of races here, won some races here. I've never seen anybody be able to pull off the outside pass at Fontana. Usually the bottom here is king. So kudos to that, my friends. I'm running out of voice. So friends, family, sponsors, shout outs, the floor is yours.
Yeah, as always, shout out to the P1 crew, especially you tonight for being a solo, man. I've seen people go through solo booths. It doesn't sound fun. So thank you to them for putting on the broadcast, Matt for putting on the league, and honestly, shout out to the field of drivers we have, because with how we were running in practice, I did not anticipate that going caution free, and it somehow managed it. I guess just the way the setup was, it did kind of naturally spread out a little bit more in the pack than you might have thought it was. But yeah, the field did great. The racing was good. We were racing hard but clean, and that's what we like here. So shout out to the field.
Absolutely, Alex. Thank you so much for dropping in. You're getting to be a regular up here, and so we love to see that. Keep going fast and have fun, buddy. We'll see you at the next one.
Yeah.
So that is Alex Miller. He is the winner tonight, and what a fun race that was. I am on record as saying that I absolutely adore races where there are different strategies, where there are different things to happen throughout, where there's something that makes you think. And this race certainly was that. The field able to go caution free for 240 miles here at Fontana, virtual Fontana that is, and it made it very interesting. You had a couple of guys, Mark Cohn and Lith Fox. They gave the two-strap strategy. They gave it a shot. Lith Fox wasn't able to make it work. Mark Cohn had to go so slow it didn't benefit him. Ultimately, Alexander Miller, your winner. He is the first three-time winner this season in the Horizon IndyCar Series. Matt Wagner comes home second. Jason Collins is third. We do want to remind everybody that we do have a full slate of action upcoming here on P1. Tomorrow night, it's going to be the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series. The Cavs are going to take over Iowa. That's going to be live at 8:20 for the pre-race, 8:35 start. No IIS this weekend. Sunday night, the Dark Horse TW12 Series presented by the Joy of Driving. They'll take over Michigan at 8 o'clock. Monday night, it's the IndyCar Open Series top split from Milwaukee. That's 8 o'clock. Jacob Collins and I. That's going to be fun. In the IndyCar Oval Series top split presented by Techtopia from Kentucky will happen on Tuesday. We are off next week in this series, and that'll bring us to the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series from Daytona on August the 21st. We do want to thank everybody who makes this possible. The Horizon IndyCar League, the drivers, the fans, all of you at home made this absolutely wonderful. And I thank you all for helping me out through this. It's usually very difficult to broadcast, and it is a broadcast by yourself, and it makes it a whole lot tougher if there's nobody to talk to. So kudos to the fans and the viewers who are out there. We also do want to thank everybody who makes this possible, and I'm not talking about race car drivers or broadcasters.
This is how to get in shape fast. If you want to drop this, start.
And I'm not talking about broadcasters for the police, the fire, the military, the nurses in the emergency room, all of the people who do the hard work in the middle of the night so that we can sleep safe and sound in our beds. We thank you. We will see y'all tomorrow night from Iowa.